I'm Lindye Galloway, and today I want to talk about marble alternatives. I have 4 that are my favorites and my go-tos if a client doesn't want real marble. And if you stick around to the end, I'll even give you a bonus, but let's jump in and tell you all about the 4 that I love. First and foremost though, I want to talk about my love for real marble. There is something about real marble that is just so unique and beautiful. Every slab looks different because it comes from the earth and you get a real organic nature to it. So knowing that, when we look at marble alternatives and marble lookalikes, it's really important that we try and get them as closely matched to real marble as possible. So there are 3 things that I look for when I'm looking at these image printed materials. What I look for is color, depth, and veining. I want to see the most beautiful color tones, and I want to gather as much of a white tone that a real marble would have mixed with the depth of the veining that happens here. I want to make sure there's depth in the fact that it won't fall flat. So when you see it, that it really still strikes you as if there are layers coming from the earth in marble. And the last thing that you want to be looking for is veining. You want to make sure that it looks authentic and real when it comes to veining. Now, the thing to really understand about both porcelain and quartz is that it's an image screen printed on top of the material. So that's why those color, depth, and veining pieces are really important to get as close to the marble lookalike as possible. Porcelain being my #1 favorite marble lookalike. Here you can see you get the nice coloring, you got bright whites mixed with some darker grays, you have a little bit of a Calcutta look going on in here. To me, porcelain gives you that most resolution image. Does that make sense? Essentially it's saying that like the image is the highest quality and it looks the best on this type of material, so it looks most like marble, which is the whole point here. The other thing is that you just get that depth, you get that great veining. It's such a beautiful product. But if you want something a little bit different, you could also do quartz. Now I have 3 quartz favorites. This is one of my top contenders. I feel like you still get some depth and color and you get some nice veining, and it still overall has a really great tone. So this actually is real marble here. And so if you really kind of compare the two on all of these, you can see how they differ, but also how they're a pretty close match. So nothing will ever beat the real deal marble, but these get pretty darn close. This is another favorite. So this is another quartz. Here, what I like about it is you get a little bit more of a milky color and the veining is a little bit softer overall. You get a little more peekaboos of it and it looks really beautiful. And lastly, if you are going for a look of marble that has deeper veining, that looks more dramatic, this is one of my favorites as well. And this is where the veining really comes into play. You can see with the image here, it looks really crisp and really beautiful. Now, some of you who have never dabbled in marble might be wondering why someone would choose an alternative of marble versus the real deal. Personally, I would pick real marble all day long because there is nothing better than the real deal product. However, a lot of people, when it comes to marble, worry about how porous it is. So this is where it's really important to consider how you're gonna live in this space, what kind of use you have, how much you entertain. So some of our clients love real marble and some of them love the look of it, but they want something that they can have dinner parties and not worry if wine gets spilt or spaghetti sauce is flying, and that's where these come in. They're much easier to maintain, easier to clean, but you can also accomplish the same with marble with the sealer and the cleaner, but those are kind of the differences, and it really comes down to how you experience your kitchen. If you have stuck with me this long, you deserve a bonus. So I'm gonna give you my bonus tip, and my bonus tip is that when it comes to the finishes of each of these materials, there is typically polished and then there is honed. Honed is a more matte finish, polish is much more shiny, and I always recommend polish because that's where you can start to get a little more depth with some of these image printed materials. So always go polished. So if you guys have any questions about marble or any of the marble alternatives that I've shown you here, DM me, leave a comment. I would love to help you guys make the selection for your home.